Okay, what if I told you that a lot of the choices you make every single day, like what you eat, what you buy, maybe even what you think about, aren't really your choices at all? It's true. There's this invisible force, this unseen hand that's constantly guiding your behavior. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain, see what it is, and figure out how you can actually take control of it.
So first up, motivation is overrated. And to prove it, we're going to start with this really cool real-world experiment that just completely flips the script on the whole idea of willpower. It all starts in a pretty unlikely place, a hospital cafeteria, where a doctor had this wild idea about how to change thousands of people's eating habits.
This was the big question, right? Dr. Ann Thorndike and her team at Massachusetts General Hospital asked something pretty radical. They wondered, hey, can we actually improve the health of thousands of people without putting up a single motivational poster, without giving any lectures? Basically, could they change behavior without even trying to change anyone's mind?
Their plan was honestly brilliant. And it was totally silent. For 6 months, they decided to just subtly redesign the environment, what they called the choice architecture of the hospital cafeteria. The whole goal was to see if just changing the layout could change what people chose to eat and drink. No nagging, no talking, just design.
So here's what they did. Before the experiment, the refrigerators right by the cash registers, the impulse buy spots, they were packed with nothing but soda. Now, the researchers didn't get rid of the soda. They just added water to those fridges and then put baskets of bottled water near every single food station in the room. They didn't make the unhealthy choice harder, they just made the healthy choice way more obvious.
And you know what happened? The results after just 3 months were absolutely staggering. People's behavior shifted almost immediately. Soda sales went down and water sales shot way up. Let me show you the exact numbers because they're pretty wild.
Soda sales dropped by over 11%. Now just think about that for a second. Without a single person being told, hey, you should drink less soda, thousands of people just did. It was this completely natural shift, and the only thing that prompted it was a tiny change in their surroundings.
And at the same time, sales of bottled water jumped up by nearly 26%. This just proves such a powerful point. A lot of the time, the most obvious choice is the one we make, and it completely bypasses whatever motivation or willpower we think we have.
All right, so let's move on and see how this one little experiment points to a much, much bigger idea. What happened in that cafeteria, it actually reveals this powerful, universal principle about human behavior, what we can call the invisible hand.
And here's the absolute heart of it. Our environment is constantly quietly guiding our actions. We think our choices are all coming from inside our own heads, but the truth is, our habits are so dependent on the context around us. You whisper in a library, you get a little tense walking down a dark street. It's not because you consciously decide to, it's because the environment is cueing that behavior.
And hey, this isn't just some pop psychology idea. This is a foundational concept. Way back in 1936, a psychologist named Kurt Lewin captured it in this really elegant equation. It basically says your behavior is a function of you, the person, in your environment. It's a simple little formula that explains a massive truth. Your actions are always a product of who you are and where you are.
So why is this environmental influence so incredibly powerful? How does it actually work on us? Well, a huge part of the answer has to do with our most dominant sense by far, our sight. You know who's known this for a really long time? Businesses. They've been using this for decades. Back in the 50s, an economist even gave it a name, suggestion impulse buying. And it's a simple idea, right? We often buy things not because we need them, but just because of how they're presented to us. The stuff at eye level in the grocery store always sells better. It really is that simple.
Get this for a mind-blowing example. A whopping 45% of all Coca-Cola sales, that's almost half, come from those super visible end-of-the-aisle racks in supermarkets. They are not there by accident. That is prime real estate, and it is designed to do one thing: make the product the most obvious choice you can possibly make. So, what is it about seeing something that gives it such an incredible hold over our behavior? Why are these visual cues so darn powerful? Well, the answer is literally hardwired into our biology. Check this out. The human body has about 11 million sensory receptors, okay? And a full 10 million of those are dedicated to just one sense: vision. 10 million. Some experts even estimate that half of our brain's resources are used just for processing what we see. So it's no exaggeration to say that for us, the world is, in large part, what we see.
Now, I know this might sound a little, discouraging, like we're just puppets of our environment.
But here's the really good news. Once you understand the power of this invisible hand, you can start to use it for your own benefit. You can stop being the puppet and start being the architect.
This right here is the crucial shift in perspective. You don't have to be a victim of your environment. You can be its architect. By consciously, deliberately designing your own physical and digital spaces, you can start to steer your behavior towards the habits you actually want to have.
So, how do you do it? How do you become the architect? It's really a three-step process. First, you just have to identify the triggers. What in your environment is cueing your bad habits? Second, redesign your space to make the good habits obvious. You want to read more? Great, put a book on your pillow. And third, make the bad habits invisible. You want to watch less TV? Unplug it after you use it and put the remote in another room. It's all about making the good habits obvious and the bad habits invisible.
So I'll leave you with this. Just look around you right now. Your room, your desk, your phone's home screen. What is one cue, just one thing that you can change right now to make a good habit the easy, obvious choice? The power really is in your hands. Thanks for watching.